purple remained undiminished, was back in Hispania, and he had dispatched Otto to Rome in a bid to persuade certain powerful men that change was necessary. If Otto succeeded, he was confident the aging Galba would name him his heir. If he failed, all he could look forward to was a painful end. It was Valerius's job to get him there. Valerius shrugged. Since the defeat of Vesontio, they hunted men with swords in their hands, bellies to fill and nothing to lose. If they sense weakness, they will attack, allies or not. I'd guess we're too strong for them, but, he pointed to the dead woman, if these people were killed by auxiliary cavalry, we have a different problem. The legions which destroyed Vindex are loyal to the Emperor and still quartered at Lugdunum, less than 50 miles north. If they take us, the best you can hope for is to be strung up from the nearest tree. Otto swatted at the flies plaguing his horse. Then we must avoid— Shit! Valerius reacted instantly to a howling shriek that split the silence like an executioner's sword, as 30 horsemen burst from the cover of the trees on the far side of the field. He spun the roan and dragged Otto's mount by the bridle back into the shadow of the olive groves. "Form line!" he roared. "Serpentius, with me in the centre. 2 men to guard the governor." The field was heat-baked, as flat as a legionary parade ground and 300 paces wide. By now, the enemy horsemen, Batavian auxiliaries, judging by their war gear, were a quarter of the way across. But Valerius took the time to issue precise orders. He rapped out the commands, roaming the line as he shouted each word in their faces. "Swords only!" The long, razor-edged spathae hissed from their sheaths. "Straight to the charge. Stay tight with me. We hit them once and we hit them hard. Leave them screaming and bloody, then circle back to cover the governor. Understand?" The Decurion commanding the Vascones grunted his acknowledgement and barked an order to his men, at the same time urging his mount out of cover and into the sunlight. Valerius was already in motion. After the months spent in the saddle with Corbulo's cavalry, the roan might have been a living extension of his body. He felt the comforting presence of Serpentius, his Spanish freedman, pull up to his right knee. Their eyes met for an instant, and Serpentius nodded. No need for spoken orders. Valerius reached across his body and slid the long blade of his sparta from its scabbard on his right hip. Neither man carried a shield, though each of the cavalry troopers held the light leather roundel the auxiliaries favoured. He checked his horse to allow the Vascones to form on him, and looked up just as a slight stutter in the Batavian ranks and the strident cry of urgent orders confirmed what he had suspected. He felt a savage heat well up inside him. The Batavians had seen a small huddle of mounted men amongst the bodies of the villagers they had themselves slaughtered, and marked them as local lords or magistrates, rich pickings compared to the farmers and tanners who lay bled out among the stalks. When they had launched their surprise attack from the woods, the last thing they had expected was to be confronted by a full troop of cavalry. Now they must face a fight they hadn't bargained for, or break away, leaving their flank exposed to the rampaging Vascones, already screaming their war cries as they pounded over the dry earth. Valerius saw the enemy come on, confirming that the Batavian commander had made the right choice, but that still wouldn't save them. 300 paces separated the converging forces, and they closed at a rate that would have terrified and bewildered a foot soldier. Valerius's mind was that of a veteran cavalryman, effortlessly judging angle, distance, and speed. He sensed fear and confusion in the enemy ranks, and that awakened the killer inside him. All the long months of frustration and fear, as he and Serpentius had stayed one step ahead of Nero's assassins, were condensed into a ball of fire at his core. He wanted to slaughter these cocky German bastards. "Close the ranks!" he roared. "Hold the line!" The order was echoed by the curved trumpet of the unit's signaller. It was a question of nerve. When cavalry met cavalry, the accepted tactic was to charge in open order, to avoid individual collisions that would cripple man and horse. But Valerius was inviting just that. His racing mind took in every detail of the enemy. The thunder of hooves pounded his ears, and the Batavians were a sweat-blurred wall of horses and men that surged and rippled, the gaps opening and closing as each